the hippies of the Mediterranean. They were very, very cool, and they knew the prophecies and everything. In the mid-1940s, the Nag Hammadi, these texts were found in Egypt, and they were very well done. And they were the writings of the Essenes and the Nazarenes about what they saw as the world, as what was going on. 40% of what they talked about was called the archonic energy. And the Nazarenes, who were part of the tradition of the one called Jesus, wrote that there was a dark force, an energy called the archons, that were not biological, but it was sentient energy that comes down to...
The Arabs call them genies.
Of course. Of course. And I won't go into that because I have some pretty dark opinions about some of the people who are doing this. But why are human beings acting so crazy? Why are we doing this? If you talk to 99 out of 100 people, we can figure out how to make this world better, just like that.
I'm not racist. I don't want to screw people over.
No, we want...
I don't have bad will.
As you said before, a rising tide lifts all ships. We want there to be prosperity for everybody. But there is a force in this universe. There is a force in this galaxy, there is a force in this solar system, and there's a force on this planet that is intentionally creating chaos and eating off of that energy. It's called the archonic force. And you know about this, I know about this, it's all over. And the point is that we as human beings represent the highest vibration, a potential vibration of universal consciousness. Now, our DNA is still relatively simple, but it has the potential to grow. We'll talk about it more.
Well, we're going to talk about more on Tuesday. You're coming back in Tuesday. And look, whether people believe this or not, I've studied the elites. They believe this. But they are like tuned into the evil, thinking it's going to give them some power. And they're going to build a machine and merge with it and be God.
Absolutely.
They're totally throwing out everything we've already got for this promise of something they're getting. It's just incredible. Stay with us. I was, during that 60-second break, ran in to get a glass of iced tea. And there was Obama on Fox News at NATO. We already played a clip last hour, but it was a new clip. It said live. This is going on like 10 o'clock at night over there or something, blaming tension and racism in communities for the cops getting shot in Dallas and saying gun control is the answer. The media hyped all this. There isn't an epidemic of blacks being shot by police. There's an epidemic of drug laws putting nonviolent people in jail, including blacks. Oh, and Hillary and Clinton got that through. And again, it's not about even being a Republican and blaming Democrats. I'm not a Republican. It's just logic and facts. It's not true. But it's the victory of perception over reality. Delusion. Delusion. Lies. And who's the father of lies? George Humphrey, my friend, has written the new book that just came out, available at Amazon.com, Life, Love, Joy, A Story of Humans' Origins, the Polarity of Present Choices, and Our Unrealized Potential. And everything the globalists do is about suppressing our potential. And George's such a sweetheart. He's selling this book at cost, but it's a powerful book. I just started reading it. He'll be back on Tuesday to talk about the book itself. But look, George, all I know is everything that social engineers do is about suppressing human potential. Everything they do is about cutting off resources. Everything they do is about telling us we're ugly, we're bad, we're no good, when we're not. Again, we're fallen because we are bought into this system. And this system's doing everything it can from keeping us from ascending.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we need to remember is that everything is quantum. Everything is light. Everything is vibration. Everything is consciousness.
That's why in Newtonian physics, for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction.
Absolutely. And right now,
every time the enemy hits
in the first 5 or 6 dimensions, there's polarity. And because there is more energy coming into our solar system, this is not some new age theory, it's just a fact, is that the different polarities, what we call the dark and the light, the yin and yang, are getting more powerful. The dark is getting darker and the light's getting brighter. And the point is that each and every one of us as human beings have a choice. We can continue to be controlled by the cultural zeitgeist, which is like the Hunger Games, and being controlled
by the synthetic
manipulation of victim consciousness, and that's exactly what
Explain that. Everything they do. Instead, when I get attacked, I feel more powerful and up to defeat it. But in victim consciousness, you grovel and submit.
Absolutely.
Explain the difference.
And for whatever reason, you, perhaps myself, many of the people listening, we've broken out of what's called the cultural zeitgeist, the synthetic matrix, and we are more connected with our morphogenic field and connected with the universal, which is universal law, natural law, and what we've really
broken out of the controlled paradigm.
Yes, and we are able, if we continue to keep going, to I don't want to get too esoteric here, but to activate the energy systems within our body, which are called chakras, and to become clearer and more aware and more full of light and more self-powerful. We human beings.
Well, take the Pentagon. Separate from what you just said. The Pentagon in Jade Helm, which we never said was martial law. It was a training for martial law. The Pentagon says we must stop independent, self-empowered individuals. The threat, they said, was independently conscious individuals outside of the controls grid.
Of course it is.
They actually admit they're scared of that.
Of course it is, because it's all about power. And clearly, when we look
They want us to tune into their controlled grid. I'm not blaming the Pentagon, folks. This is their orders. They want us to tune into their wavelength, global government, political correctness, and then just give our will over to that.
And clearly, as Alex said, we are not blaming most of the military. We're not blaming the Pentagon per se, but we are blaming
those in control.
The tip of the pyramid, the people behind the beings behind the Illuminati. And because this game, and we're in a game, life is a dream, realize it. Life is a challenge, meet it. Life is a game, play it. And life is love, accept it. But we're in the challenge part, and we've got to accept the challenge and realize that most of what we're seeing is a dream or false, or it's a zeitgeist that's not true. It's synthetic in nature.
The Matrix.
You and I and most of the people, we are trinary. We've got body, mind, and spirit, and we're carbon and we're sentient. We have the DNA to become just incredible beings of multidimensional consciousness, to bring love and consciousness and do the right thing. It's so cool. I am such an optimist, but at the same time...
Exactly. All we want to do is build and bring all this goodness into the world, and then once you do that, there's the enemy right there trying to block you. And they're trying to block all this coming in, and then they're sitting there demonizing and just attacking local government. Just go kill some cop. That's how you fix the world. No, it's how you bring anarchy and death into the world.
And just like in the 1500s, the 1600s, 1700s, England, France, Spain, Portugal, they went out and imperialized the whole world. They went to Africa. They went to South America. They went to Asia. And the imperialism was spread. And they did everything they could to make the people weaker, like bringing in heroin into China. The same thing is happening. Yeah, absolutely. The same thing is happening with right now. And we need to see through this mirage, see through the illusion, and realize that we do not have to be victims.
Let me ask you this question then. I don't have a desire to have power. I don't have a desire to tell people what to do. In fact, I hate it. But at the same time, then people that want liberty don't want to be in charge, so we sit back and let evil run it. We have to just go ahead and get in charge to basically destroy their systems and then turn open free systems, wide open, and then take free sentient beings that want to be awake into that system, try to shift the paradigm. But then I don't have the will or the desire to even control anything, so how do I ever shift that?
Well, first of all, I'm sure you're aware of the 4 universal laws: the law of attraction, the law of conscious manifestation, the law of allowance, and the law of balance and harmony. For me, the hardest one is the law of allowance, letting other people do their thing. But we have to have barriers, because being in body, in the spirit...
Well, I'm allowed to have my freedom,
right?
So that doesn't mean you get to run me over.
Yeah, but if somebody comes in and is going to mess with us and destroy our families, destroy our culture, it is our right, it is our responsibility to stand up and say, no, this is not going to happen.
So isn't that the problem, is the good people have not taken action?
Absolutely. And even Mahatma Gandhi, I lived 5 years in India, and I am a Gandhi Gandhi was incredible, but he wasn't totally nonviolent. He would talk about what is called ahimsa, which most people say is nonviolence. No, what he said, it is better for a man to go to war and kill than be a coward and say that he is nonviolent. It takes courage to stand up for what is right and for what is free and what is natural law. And that's what we have to do as human beings if we're going to get through this, because, folks, we are in the 6th mass extinction period of time.
That's right. Let's expand on this. And the elite are trying to gear us up. They're trying to get us ready consciously for human extinction like it's sexy and cool. They're already poisoning your food and your water. They're already coming after you. They're already destroying every institution. Not that it's perfect, but they want collapse. And you have to understand that this is the animating contest of liberty. This fight is meant to grow your muscles culturally, spiritually, intellectually, to be even stronger, to be able to deal with the incredible developments that humans are about to have. This is the ascension of humanity that's happening right now, and the globalists are trying to suppress it.
Absolutely. And this deal, this game, whatever you want to call this thing, is, you know, I've been doing this for years. In this last year and a half, my eyes have just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger because there's facade after facade after facade. And I know that I don't have all the answers, but I'll tell you what, folks, the game is on. There's no timeouts right now. Every single one of you watching and listening to this, it is essential that we come together, first of all, with love in our heart.
And we're going to break.
Yeah.
Exactly. Listen, folks. If you wanted to have some violent revolution, I'm not calling for that because information is the way to go. If they get us in a corner, we physically fight, and then we'll win. Don't worry. We're 10 times stronger. But if you want to have revolution against government, it's not some cop at a gas station pumping gas and shooting the back so his kids don't see him at night. If you were going to go after somebody, it'd be George Soros. That's all I'm saying. You're a loser when you sit there and attack nameless people. George Humphrey has the new book out, Life, Love, Joy. George, you say you get this at Amazon.com. Where else?
Amazon.com, Kindle, and maybe another place.
No, I want to carry it InfoWars. We'll get it done. Paul Weldon.
You know what, Alex, in the past, I think that you have sold, don't think you have sold thousands of my other books called Common Sense, Uncommon Sense, 9/11, The Great Illusion. And you know what? Buy your stuff through, Alex. Come on, we got to support each other.
No, enough about me.
No.
Speaking of plugs,
I'm going to plug you because I love you and because you're doing this 24/7, 365. And I'll tell you what, this guy is, you know, he gets mad, he yells, sometimes he exaggerates, but I'll tell you what, he is our guy and we need to support him 100% because what he's saying right now, everybody's got to chill, and we've got to get objective and realize that we're being lied to. Blacks, white, Hispanics, Asians, we got to stick together.
Plus, I mean, it's all divided. And you're right. Sometimes I exaggerate. Most of the time, though, I underestimate.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, all I do is try to tell the truth.
Just like when we did those movies called The Obama Deception and The Fall of the Republic.
3 times worse.
It was much, much worse than what we said. Much worse.
But we did, predict a lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
Those films are free online. Speaking of plugging, and since you mentioned it, we're running a food special with all this destabilization that's going on, the highest quality non-GMO produced right here in the U.S. with the top folks up in Utah, the Mormons. They're the best folks to get storable foods from. My Patriot Supply, we sell their whole spectrum of foods. We have InfoWars Select, which is their whole group of foods, discounted where nobody else can do it, 20 to 40% off. X2 is about to sell out. That's 20% off. All the non-GMO heirloom open pollinated seeds, 20% off. With the Alexa Pure and Pro Pure water filters, all of it. Optics, shortwave radios, everything. That ends tomorrow. InfoWarsStore.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our crew will answer, take your calls. And that's how we fund ourselves. Free association, high-quality products. These are the very best nutraceuticals you're going to find anywhere. The very best non-GMO seeds, the very best books, films, materials, just whatever we think is the very best. And we get the lowest prices. InfoWarsStore.com. So thank you for the support. And look, I've sat there, George. I've thought a lot about who runs this, who does this, why do these elites want to do this? The globalists will do things that hurt themselves for their larger program. And I don't know who runs it, or, you know, I mean, I'm a Christian. So I go with the Isle of Patmos and John the Revelator and Mark of the Beast and world government and all of that, which says there's this evil outside group coming in to control humanity. That fits in with what you're saying. in your new book. But all I know is whether it's Skull and Bones, Bohemian Grove, the elites, they believe they're getting information from outside entities. And all I know is it's giving them power. But separate from that, maybe it's just mental. Maybe it's some weird twisted gene. Regardless, what the globalists are building is a very, very evil system, George.
There's no